Hello, Internet! Welcome to a special episode of That Random Podcast Show. Technically, we wrapped up Season 2 of That Random Podcast Show recently, and this is not technically Season 3, but it is in fact a special episode all the same. It's special because I called it that. I'm your host, Tyler Chansey, and with me, as always, is Michael Mosley.
Okay, so, just to let everybody know, we actually did this thing like a week ago, like right after
Yes.
E3 had ended. But
you gave away the secret. This
Yeah,
episode's
yeah.
about E3!
Yeah.
Yay!
No, I
E3!
mean-
Oh my god!
it's gonna be in the title, so I'm pretty sure they already know it's in the title. But
Oh my god, E3!
yes,
Yeah.
the files messed up on us, so we had to re-record and
A
re-edit.
little behind the scenes snafu occurred.
Yeah.
Out of our hands,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, if anybody who's been watching the show since like season 1, you know that we don't actually mind letting you know that this is a show. It's kind of like breaking the fourth wall. Like,
No, I prefer to think of it as transparency, honestly.
yeah, I think that's a better word for it. But yeah,
It's transparency. We're letting you know there are a bunch of incompetent people that don't know hardware to save our lives, and as such, we need to do stupid stuff in order to.
I mean, you speak for yourself. Then again, I also went through like 3 editing softwares just to edit this, just to edit these darn things. And the third software that I found, we're finally going to use for season 3, which is going to give us a little more flair and actually show the difference.
A little more panache, if you will.
Yes, we're going to be very posh.
Panache, a lot of panache, like a mustache. Spoilers. But yes, basically a bunch of stuff got happened, and we did have a pretty long substantive recording about E3 that unfortunately kind of got lost due to a lot of problems. So we are effectively dragging ourselves out, putting the coffee on, and effectively, because we love you guys so much, all 12 of you, I guess, that listen to this show, we are re-recording it because you just can't keep a good duo down when it comes to snarking their mouths off about E3 2017.
Yeah, I'm actually still surprised that we still have publishers and developers who would work with us, because we haven't always been the kindest when it comes to our thoughts.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. We just got a bunch of review copies of Dead by Daylight.
yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, despite the point that we both do freelance things for 2 different sides, me for myself and you for the Game Fanatics. Yay! Plug in.
Who, disclaimer by the way, actually we're actually on the show floor at E3, and they actually gave out several awards to several games, which we will discuss later on the show, but, shout out to all the guys that went out there. Charles, Marcus, Jason, Rochelle, you guys are troopers. But this is, of course, my thoughts of E3 from the outside looking in, based off the conferences, based off the information they were able to slip me, and what I was able to gather through the grapevine through my various sources as well.
Yes, and we don't always, we're not always professional. Like, we don't actually kiss ass to developers and publishers just to get stuff.
This is kind of an even middle ground for us. Like we will be critical and wag the finger, but we do still have a soft spot for some of the stuff these developers have pulled off.
Oh yeah, like we'll admit that we're fans of certain things. Like we won't lie to you and say we're not fanboys of certain things.
But we're not afraid to call out some problems.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why our show works so much, is that we are unbiased, and even anytime we become
and if we do our best to temper it.
Yeah, or we just outright say, hey, I'm being biased right now, but this is the best thing ever. So, yeah, we're always going to be honest with you. So, let's get started with, actually, who do you want to start with?
Well, honestly, I think the quickest one we get out of the way is the one that technically wasn't even at E3. It was EA's EA Play Conference, which wasn't being held in Los Angeles, it was being held at Hollywood, at their own private thing. And honestly, I'm only bringing it up because there was like maybe 1 or 2 things of note about it. The continuation of their EA Originals indie initiative with A Way Out by director Josef Fares, who worked on Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and the confirmation that Star Wars Battlefront 2 will actually be a full game with a proper single-player campaign and no season pass with free downloadable maps and weapons and hero characters coming in a drip feed, and it will actually not be rushed out the door like the past game did in 2015 in order to make the deadline for a darn Star Wars movie premiere.
Well, and they still gonna sell you deluxe and gold editions anyway.
I don't know. I mean, EA does that, but I think Ubisoft takes the crown jewel for most gratuitous and blatant of special editions, if you ask me. I mean...
Yeah, unfortunately. And they haven't learned their lesson because they're still doing it.
Oh, dear God, they keep doing it. It is painful. I mean, come on. There was a $1,200 special edition package for buying a ticket to that god-awful Assassin's Creed movie last year. They've moved on to movies now with how they've done this.
Well,
but
I mean, they did set up a whole studio just for TV shows and movies and stuff.
How's that working out for you? Look at the Metacritic aggregate of the Assassin's Creed movie. Tell me how that worked out for you.
Forget the Metacritic. The box office return itself is proof enough that it's not going to work.
Ooh, yes. But back to EA. Honestly, that was really the only thing I really think I liked about that show. The continuation of EA Originals and the Battlefront 2 is going to be at least twice as big as Battlefront 1 by sheer virtue of it not being a rush production. Other than that, not really else I can really say about the show other than it was pretty cringy seeing them try to bring in certain YouTube celebrities and streamers to show how cool and with it they are, man, and how some of them very clearly are not public speakers at all.
Granted, at least EA is trying. They know where their market is. Like, let's face it, EA is ran by pie charts. I mean, the whole industry is, but EA, they are ran by pie charts.
Which is exactly why I do like whenever they do kind of step away and actually go against what's considered conventional wisdom, like the EA Originals initiative. This outreach.
I'm convinced that's also done by marketing. It's like, hey,
it's a smart bit of marketing, if you ask me.
I mean, yeah, it's respectable, but it's still all pie charts and marketing. Because let's face it,
if we make a bit more than what we invest into this, it'll be considered a profit. What would you say? That's simple business. That's simple marketing. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, look at all these Kickstarter games. They're asking for $300,000, $400,000. We can easily put that out, get a license, put it on Xbox and PC and PlayStation, and get a massive return on it. So really, I'm pretty sure they just looked at that.
If you're good at courting talent and give them the means they have to support that long term, that can be quite a lucrative endeavor.
Yeah, because they're gonna want to come back and work with you again. But for me, EA's EA Play wasn't actually all that bad. Yeah, we got another Need for Speed, which looks awful.
Need for Speed? You mean Fast and the Furious Don't Sue Us edition?
Yeah, they found a way to pretty much get the license of Fast and Furious without actually having to pay for Fast and Furious.
There was that new In the Name of the Tsar expansion for Battlefield 1. Hey, more Battlefield 1 content. That looked okay.
I mean, I skipped Battlefield 1 because
I love the campaign, but I'm kind of burnt out somewhat on the Battlefield gameplay.
Well, I mean, for me, it was just when I actually tried it and actually got to play it, it was a buggy mess, which, let's face it, is a DICE game. It's going to be...
Really? You had bugs? I didn't.
Oh my goodness, I did. Phasing through doors, lagging, shots that weren't even supposed to hit actually counted as headshots on both sides, by the way, not just against me, but I've shot people that I've clearly missed and still
You're the first person I've talked to that actually had that kind of problem.
Well, then again, I mean, I'm pretty sure by now they patched all that out, but, you know, I'm talking about like the first 3 or 4 days that the game was released.
I played the first 3 or 4 days, but we're getting off topic. But we're getting off topic. But yeah, there was the good, but then, like I said, there was these really weird moments where they had some pretty unfunny, really strained instances of having like certain celebrities or personalities from the webs come up and try to be the hype man, and they're just like deers in headlights.
Which I thought was like the best thing ever. I was like, yes. You know, this is what I want to see from E3. I want to see the cringe.
You're in it for the cringe.
I really am at this point because everything is leaked already. So pretty much the conferences and the cringe is what people are. So you're
basically going to a parade, waiting to see what floats catch fire.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes. I go to the Macy Gray Parade just to watch one of the balloons deflate over everybody. That's my good time.
You really are a sad man, aren't you?
As long as it doesn't affect me, I'm okay. But yes, for me, what I did like about EA's EA Play was that they are trying something new with A Way Out. I'm not 100% on that game yet because I don't like
co-op only. That's a big gamble.
Yeah, that and it's forced. I don't like that, but I'm gonna wait and see how it actually plays.
It seems forced, but when I played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, it felt very well done and well executed in terms of variety and execution. So I do have some confidence in the production. It's just that I'm still
and that's why I'm gonna wait and reserve my judgment on it because it's coming from the same creator, and I was like, well, he pulled it off once. I'm pretty sure he's not just going to do this.
Let's see if lightning strikes twice.
Yeah. So that's like the only thing I could really take away from EA's Play. That was like, yeah, this is decent. It was a decent show. It was decent. I got my cringe out of it. But if there's one thing that I really got to question, it's their new side business thing where they research new ways to play games or whatnot. I've forgotten what it was even called. It just made me mad because I just thought, wait a minute, you shut down Pandemic and Maxis and all these other great companies you used to have.
Bullfrog.
Yeah, and Bullfrog. You closed down all these companies you used to have who made great, interesting games. But you keep bringing up these stupid research facilities and centers and subdivisions or whatever. And I just have to question, why?
Well, the charts clearly say that the current trends are towards MOBAs and asymmetrical online play. Maybe you should try courting that market.
Yes, and you know who could...
You said it yourself, it's a company run by pie charts.
Yeah, it's a company run by pie charts. And I'm just thinking, like, wow, you want to do this, but you have any idea how great Maxis or even Pandemic would have made those genres?
I still feel if they just left BioWare alone and just kept them to their strengths, they'd be a much more coherent company, the studio than they are now, rather than having people like jump ship and go to like Beamdog or whatever.
Well, but I mean, that's the one thing I will give EA: when they do grab certain sections, they give them the freedom to do what they want and pitch what they want. But
until they come to diminishing returns and they say you will make this for us now.
Like they gave a team who worked on DLC a chance to make Mass Effect.
No. I'm not talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm just talking about
no. In general, yeah, I know what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying. Like they took a team, they believed in the team, they believed in BioWare. It's like, hey, these guys are really good. They made DLC. The main BioWare is working on a game that we now know as Anthem. But we really need a new Mass Effect game. Yeah, but we need a new Mass Effect game. So let's take this team who's worked on Mass Effect.
And it was such a misfire. They've shelved the entire IP.
Well, the thing is, EA gave them the freedom to do it. It's like, hey, we need a new Mass Effect. Do what you have to do. Let's do this. Here's your money. And wow,
due to being such a troubled production of 5 years, it was cobbled together within the last 18 months.
yeah. If anybody,
can we move on, please? It's making me very depressed.
Yeah, I will. But but for anybody who doesn't know the story about the 18 months that who just brought up, Kotaku did an in-depth research on this, an investigation. Go over to Kotaku and take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm citing Kotaku when it comes to this research, but yeah, EA overall not exactly a terrible conference, but not exactly a stellar one either. So let's move on to the big show of the.
And this is where the cringe nearly leaves us.
Here we go to the big dog. When I say big dog, I mean big dog as in the dog that takes up the most space on the rug, and no matter what you do, it won't leave. I am talking, of course, about Microsoft's 90-minute long presentation at E3. Like, everybody else had maybe an hour tops. Nintendo's Spotlight and Treehouse thing was about half an hour. Microsoft had 90 whole minutes.
4K, HDR, more 4K.
4K movies, 4K Blu-ray, 4K gaming, 4K breathing, 4K drinking, 4K eating, 4K driving, 4K living.
Oh, but don't forget.
Join the 4K.
Don't forget, true 4K.
True 4K living, join FPS in the 4K. I'm exaggerating, but only a little
Not
bit,
by
and
much.
that's the messed up thing.
Not by much. Like the key word at that conference for Microsoft was 4K.
4K.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I remember writing an E3 prediction article for the Game Fanatics, and the first thing I said is like this conference is Microsoft announcing a new Xbox, the Scorpio, their big answer to Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro, and the first thing I told myself is they are going to pimp the crap out of it being able to render a 4K resolution and go on about how it's the best darn console ever and how it's the most powerful thing ever. We listen to the developers and we put all these gigs in it, put all this RAM into it. It's got all the teraflops. It's got all this stuff. It's liquid cooled, man. It is the future. It is called the Xbox One X. And my god, what a terrible name. Like, jumping right into it, this is probably the biggest misfire of a console announcement I have seen in years. I'd say it's up there with the Wii U, and I don't say that lightly. Like, when it comes to things I didn't like about the Microsoft conference, they went on about how this is basically an updated Xbox, quoted specs at us, like we're all a bunch of hardware junky neckbeards, and then proceeded to not showcase the processing power, aside from a very scripted demo of Forza Motorsport 7, but not before showing off a very pretty Porsche, because we know our fan base so well, and showing off Minecraft in 4K. I wish I was kidding.
Yeah, now you can look at your pixelated junk in 4K. It's still going to look like pixelated junk.
In 4K resolution! And of course, they did this little marketing trick I'm always privy to, where they say Forza Motorsport 7 will be 4K resolution, it'll run at 60 FPS, but they never specify the rest of the games will run at 60 FPS.
I mean, it's fair, because you can't actually speculate how everybody else is going to use your console. What they can speculate is what they're making with Forza, and even...
But the presentation all the same is, it shows at 60 FPS, therefore the rest of the audience assumes that 60 FPS is part of the 4K experience subconsciously, and therefore, I'm not saying it's a bad tech. I'm just saying it's clever. You know, it's a little part of the psychology of marketing.
Yeah, it just shows that the console can do 60 frames.
Yeah. You bring that up. Except if you program for it. But then again, that can be said about any game that's designed for any piece of hardware. If you optimize it and really focus on cutting down on the junk, depending on how much you're utilizing processing graphical power. Because in that exact same presentation, they had Terry Crews pimping out Crackdown 3, and during the presentation, the developer basically said, "Oh yeah, no, it's capped at 30 FPS."
I mean, I'm down for Terry Crews in it, but what's worse is Microsoft has put up the Xbox One X on the Xbox Family Store. It's up on the on where you can look up information for it.
You can pre-order it now. You can pre-order all these games now. Pre-order our stuff now. It's 4K.
They showed a comparison of the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. And it is pathetic. They just shot themselves in the foot by showing that comparison, because they've just shown that the Xbox One X is pretty much an Xbox One S. And it's so weird, because they showed, hey, look at this HDR, and they showed a scene from Crackdown 3 where you can switch the HDR on and off. It's like, oh, so you pretty much just turn the bloom on, because that's what it looks like. It looks like the bloom has been turned on. And what makes it even worse is when they showed some of the specs for it, it's like, okay, you got 6 teraflops. Okay, and
if you know anything about processing power, that's not that big of a deal, actually.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and can you show me any other game other than Forza? Yeah, here's Crackdown 3. Yeah, Crackdown 3 is going to look the same no matter what. The only biggest difference is HDR. Can you show me something else?
In other words, it's exactly the same thing they were shit-talking Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro for just being. An upgrade that just does HDR and maybe cuts down on loading screens a little bit. Like, that's what was really missing for me when it came to the Xbox One X unveiling. They kept saying how much more powerful it is, and they had 90 minutes to showcase it. I actually would have been perfectly okay with them actually having a moment where they brought up an old Xbox One game, I don't care what it is, and showed it running on a base model Xbox One and an Xbox One X, and do a side-by-side to show just how much the processing power and how much easier it is to get a bit more fidelity and optimization out of it just on the reliance of the hardware. Like, show like, oh, the link screws are a bit shorter here. Also, there's less, texture pop in here. It can be something small like that, but it would have been enough to show that this is an upgrade. This is something that you want even if you have an Xbox One and you don't have a 4K television.
Yeah,
because...
Well, they say even if you don't have it, the game will still look good. But
but once again, it's just word of mouth. And here's the problem, though, for me. If you don't have a 4K television and you're watching this on YouTube, you will not see this 4K resolution.
It all looks the same.
It all looks the same, but here's what's even more hilarious to me. They said they were showing Assassin's Creed Origins at 4K resolution. They cut over to somebody playing it, and it was a camera pointed at a monitor playing Assassin's Creed Origins with terrible lighting on it. It's like, look at it, you really can't see here, but it's in 4K resolution. Trust us? So, like, congratulations.
Yeah, and actually, I found that checklist that Microsoft made for the Xbox One and One S. The biggest difference between the X and the S, they both
other than the confusing marketing names are going to piss off a lot of
that's what they're betting on. So both of them can do 4K Blu-ray, 4K streaming, 100 plus console exclusives, and 300 Xbox 360 games.
Do us a favor and put exclusives in air quotes here, because I swear to God, if they abuse that word anymore, I'm going to call Child Protective Services on them.
Yeah. Fast, reliable Xbox Live, DTS:X audio capability, and works with all your games and accessories. Now, here's where the difference come in. Okay, 6 teraflop of graphical processing power. See every frame with 326 gigabyte a second memory bandwidth, which only counts towards the developers, and relish 40% more power than any other console. Well,
you keep saying that.
Yeah.
You keep saying that, but I'm not seeing it on the screen.
Oh, but there is one thing that I can't figure out why Microsoft wasn't pimping this out, but there is one thing that the X can do that the S can't that's actually kind of awesome.
Listening?
It can stream and record clips in 4K resolutions at 60 frames per second. That's
okay.
That's
actually okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. That's a big feature.
That's okay. Yeah,
that's actually a pretty big question. It's like, I have all these teraflops. What can I do with it? Oh, you can stream and record in 4K. Why didn't they go on about that? That would actually have been a good pricing.
The big problem, though, is that they just sort of said, oh, it's a new console, here's some games for it, except the games they showed off was either ports of other stuff, like freaking Black Desert, and a Korean MMO, a couple of exclusive premieres of trailers for games that are going to be coming on other machines other than the Xbox, and exclusives that will be coming to Windows 10, but here's the thing. I know they show off some pretty interesting stuff, but I really don't trust anything Microsoft puts out anymore for two big reasons. One, their stuff usually gets canceled. I'm still pissed off about Scalebound, for one.
Oh, you and me both.
And two, if it's also Windows 10, technically it's not a console exclusive, because eventually that stuff goes off to other pastures, like Superhot and Superhot VR. That's coming to PS4 and PSVR. That was an Xbox exclusive for the longest time. Rise of the Tomb Raider, it did horribly on the Xbox One. Came to PC, sold like gangbusters.
Well, then again, Microsoft bought a 1 year time exclusive for that. So.
I'm talking about time exclusives as well.
Yeah.
Inside, same thing. Here's something else for you. Killer Instinct, one of the biggest exclusives for the Xbox One that came to Windows 10. Guess what? It's coming to Steam.
Yeah.
It's coming to Steam. Like, there's really no real reason to pick up this machine as far as I'm concerned. I primarily play with Sony and Nintendo's consoles, and Microsoft didn't bring up any major exclusives. Anything they can coherently and emphatically say, this is ours, you can only play it on the Xbox, come back and check this out, other than sequels to franchises they know have already worked. Gears, Halo, Crackdown. And there's not much else there. Like, I know we're ranting about this a lot, but this is the biggest misstep of the show, if you ask me.
This is supposed to be Microsoft's big reveal. It's supposed to be the big thing for their E3.
We're bringing in more exclusives. We're bringing in all this good stuff. Oh, good. 5 more seconds of Cuphead footage you've been showing us for the past 3 years. How about you actually give us a release date?
Yeah, well, I mean, they did give a release date. But, hey, we have 44 games. We need 90 minutes in order to show you all this cool stuff, which we're going to hide most behind a montage.
Most behind a sizzle reel, and the stuff they did show off, they tried to make it all about esports and Twitch stuff.
Now that was the biggest cringe.
That was beyond cringe. Like it was for this like arena game called the Darwin Project, and it had this like very atmospheric trailer where it had like a guy like behind a fireplace near a bonfire. He's like, oh gosh. like he's holding like a weapon. I thought, oh man, maybe this maybe kind of like a survival game.
Yeah,
that's
what I was afraid. I was like, oh, it's gonna be another stupid indie survival game.
And then the guy gets killed, and suddenly there's a guy on stage going like, oh snap, the guy took him out. He's talking his stuff, and oh man, it's anybody's game now. All this crazy chaotic gameplay footage that I guess is in game. I can't tell. There's so much stuff.
The thing is, that guy was the only one on stage. Who was playing that game? It looked pre-recorded because there's nobody on stage actually playing it.
It looked horribly staged. It looked horribly fake. It looked very much like it was trying to pander to the ADD, Call of Duty sizzle reel people.
Not even that. It looked like it was trying to pander to streamers and people who watch streams and esports and YouTube gaming. It's like, geez.
Like, I swear to God, it was like one rapid flash of Doritos, Mountain Dew, and Troll Faces away from turning into a parody. I wish I was kidding. It was that level of embarrassing.
Yeah, and I don't care what anybody says. It looks like that guy was reading off a prompter. I know it's supposed to be like he's looking at the screen at the gameplay.
No. Like he was clearly looking at a prompter. It was very contrived.
Yeah, it was very scripted because there's nobody on stage playing but him holding on to his earpiece, yelling frantically like it was something really going on. It was like, dude, you speaking frantically like that is faster than the gameplay that's going on right now.
You speaking frantically is one thing, and two, here's the thing: when streamers play, they play, and people comment on the playing. The guy doesn't comment while he's playing, unless he's an insufferable narcissist. At which point he wouldn't even have that big of a following. Your logic breaks down, people.
Yeah, and that's where that whole esports thing comes in. They really, I don't know if this is going to be a console exclusive, and if so, for how long.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I'll bet you dollars of donuts it'll be on freaking Steam, GOG, Green Man Gaming, Origin, Dice-Gate.
It's definitely going to be in there because it's going to be big on Twitch. But
Mixer.
Oh wait, didn't they also did that with Sea of Thieves about a year or so ago. They tried to make it seem like this big streaming thing.
Yeah, they did, and also Sea of Thieves was showing off, Rare's pirate game.
Oh my goodness, and they spent a good 15-20 minutes on that piece of junk.
It looks okay, but I don't think it's exactly the thunderous return of a Halo developer that was responsible for a lot of my childhood nostalgia. I'm like, okay, this looks quirky, I guess, but I'm not seeing the fun here.
Yeah, people, just remember, roughly 1/9, or no, I'm not going to say that, 20 minutes of a 90-minute presentation where there's supposed to be 44 big games shown, and of course of a reveal of our console. 20 minutes of that went to Sea of Thieves.
With
no new information, no real new gameplay, because it was the same.
It was basically just ship combat, ship repair, coordination, getting on an island and hunting for treasure, and oh no, the treasure is cursed. Let's fight some skeletons now. That was basically it.
Yeah, the same thing we saw the year prior. Only I think the biggest thing they showed this time was, hey, for some strange reason, this chest full of treasure can float. It's really weird. At your whole game, that's the thing that caught my attention, and that's kind of weird.
That is really depressing. Also, we've mentioned this several times. Like we are very much where E3 is on marketing events. You have to sell be confident what you're selling and show that it's a genuine product that actually is believable. But I think that's actually another shortcoming that happened because at Microsoft's conference is where we got to see a substantive gameplay reveal for BioWare's Anthem. And I've mentioned this several times to other writers and people I associate with. When I think of BioWare, I think of a studio that focuses entirely on character development, character-focused experiences, and interestingly adventures. I think of
a lot of world building. They love
they love their world building. I love them for it. I love that. I love Knights of the Old Republic. I love the Mass Effect series. From the bottom of my heart, it's one of my favorite franchises ever. I love Dragon Age almost as much.
Just not too.
But I love these series. I love the work that BioWare's able to put in. But when I think of them, I do not think multiplayer-focused action experience. And unfortunately, that's what I got when I saw this gameplay reveal of Anthem, which honestly looks like they're basically looking at Bungie's Destiny and trying to see, okay, how can we do our version of that. Because I swear to God, it's almost the exact same setup. Post-apocalyptic setup, walled city protecting humanity. You're playing as somebody in a suit of power armor that's there that goes on scouts to get supplies and stuff to keep the people safe. But it's got jetpacks this time. But okay, I will admit that's actually kind of awesome. But the problem is for the presentation they shown, it was blatantly scripted.
Oh man, they pulled a Ubisoft.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It was painful to see that. Like seriously, they were flying around and like another guy showed up and they're getting ready to like kill these enemies. Like, let's use the mortar. Got it. Hello, treasure. Once they like take it out, like, dude, if you're going for real organic dialogue in a game like this, it'd be more like lines of like, all right, let's see what I got. Ah, screw you, RNG. Frick this game. Like,
yeah,
it wouldn't be hello treasure. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? If you really were playing it, it would be rote to the point of like, okay, crap. Ooh, I like this.
Like, that's the one thing I can at least give Rare when they were showing off that their game is going to be like communication and all that. They actually got people who's actually streaming the game who actually played it. And why they only
that was a lot more believable.
Yeah, and they picked certain pieces of them saying things, but the point is they actually showed real people actually playing the game, testing the game, and laughing and having fun. It's like, this is what we want people to. This is what we want you to do. This is what you.
If you're selling your experience as a multiplayer centric experience, this is the kind of thing you want to show.
Yeah, it's like this is the fun you could be having with friends. Yeah, it's gonna be random with random people, but ultimately this is what we're aiming for. The stuff that BioWare show, that's not gonna happen even with friends.
It feels really weird because, as I said, it really does feel like this. It's supposed to be a new IP from BioWare. I should be excited. Like I was actually expecting a revival of that Shadow Realms game that got canceled, like more narrative focused because it looked kind of urban fantasy, supernatural oriented. And I'm kind of a sucker for that. It's like, yep, no, but just a sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, online shared world experience with a 10-year plan because apparently that's the trend now, and like I was very underwhelmed
with the money Destiny has been making. I'm not gonna be surprised if more and more games do it. Heck, I'm waiting for Ubisoft to start doing some of that with the Ghost Recon.
They did
game.
one. It's called The Division.
Oh my god, that's right, The Division.
Yeah, they already did that. And it's kind of embarrassing, but
actually, I'm sorry they haven't actually announced The Division 2 yet.
Or, I don't know, more stuff for The Division or whatever. I don't know. But, yeah, these were the big points of Microsoft's conference. But, of course, we are a show of balances. So there actually was one good announcement I do think Microsoft did make.
Cuphead.
When it came to it. It was actually the announcement of cross-platform, cross-network play when it came to Minecraft. They're actually in development right now, working on a patch, a sort of update for the game that will allow people to play Minecraft with other players online regardless of what platform they have on it. Xbox, PC, or the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, if you have a PS4, you're still playing with other PS4 players. You're on your own. Sorry, blame Sony.
Yeah, I was actually getting to that. You see, originally Microsoft pitched the idea to Sony of wanting to like do a cross-network play and bring it into other games, or to kind of like break down the console war wall, so to speak. And Sony basically cited security concerns as to why they didn't want that kind of activity done on their. No, I'm being serious.
No. Like, yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah, I mean, I believe
they cited security concerns. They're like, we don't want that. And Microsoft basically said, okay, fine, we'll just work with all of your other competitors.
It's kind of weird because
and put you on the spot.
It's kind of weird because one, Microsoft has the most reliable, other than PC, they have the most reliable connection and security.
Oh yeah.
Sony has had trouble with security in the past, way more often than anybody else.
And Nintendo, well, they're trying. Gosh darn it!
It's Nintendo. Nobody's that trollish. And if anything, Sony should be happy that the most secure network for console gaming is trying to do cross-platform, because that means whoever plays on your platform, they're going to be in a secure system. So what's their issue? Oh, right, because you can't control what's going on.
They've put years of research in development into this, and I actually want to applaud Microsoft for this, because they're also applying that exact same stuff to Rocket League, which is also coming to the Nintendo Switch. Well,
the thing is, Microsoft is pretty obvious. Microsoft is losing interest in being a console seller. It's all in the software. They don't.
They're going towards the software. They're trying to compete. Seriously, they're trying to compete on like two different fronts at this point.
I mean,
with the Xbox, with the console, with the Windows 10 storefront, PC gaming, and looks like they're trying to move their resources to different initiatives. And I'm fine with that. It's a smart call. Like you mentioned, they're doing an update to their Xbox Live avatars for inclusion, and I actually looked into it, and I'm like, no, this is actually a good thing. I actually do enjoy they are reaching out and making sure that other people have more variety for self-expression when it comes to their Xbox Live avatars. But it's still another sign that, as you said, they are understanding that their strength seems to be in their network and their support, more so than their software. I know some Halo and Gears fans are going to be mad at me for saying that, but I think that is where they're putting their focus now, and I think it's a smart call. And this cross-platform play with Minecraft was a sign of this.
Yeah, and it's going to continue. The Xbox One X just may be the last Xbox ever, because Microsoft is already talking about that. Yeah, there should be no more new generations. If anything, we should just steadily upgrade the consoles like a PC. Microsoft is moving so far away from consoles, they basically want to go back to PC because that's where it all sells.
Oh my gosh! And they have so much Apple envy; it is painful.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple years ago, people were getting mad at Microsoft for not bringing anything to PC like Halo and Gears. And now that Microsoft is doing it, more people have a better reason not to get an Xbox. Like, well, I can just play it on the PC. I'm still supporting the developers and the publisher. So why would I buy an Xbox? And Microsoft even recently announced that even though the Xbox One X is going to be $500, they're not making money off of it. They're still going at a loss.
And, I mean, you kind of brought up yourself, like Killer Instinct. I played that thing that's like the only thing I bought on the Windows 10 store, and I played it on my PC with a PS4 controller because I just like fighting games.
You make me sick.
1v1 me, my Jago is MLG, bro.
Play me in Dead or Alive. Let's do this.
I don't play crap fighting games, but yeah, that was Microsoft's conference.
I didn't say Tekken. I didn't say we were playing Tekken. Get out of here.
But yes, Microsoft's conference, 90 minutes, and so much of it was just so much packing peanuts filler. It was very disappointing, if you ask me. And Michael, you're primarily an Xbox player, and you were shaking your head like, oh man.
This was easily a low point for me for E3. Well, there was one more, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, as an Xbox primary player, I do have a PS4. I have a pretty powerful gaming rig. I have the Switch, so calm down. But as a primary Xbox One player, yeah, Microsoft dropped the ball hard, and I don't think I even want them to pick it back up.
Yeah, that's the level of a loss of confidence, Michael, that you have now with this company. I hope they for the best for them, but this is not a good look for them.
Day one, Microsoft. I even have the controller that has the Day One logo stitched on it. Damn Microsoft.
Oh yeah, back then when they're trying to bullshit us about the computational power of the cloud. Remember all that? Oh dear. But I won't kick you when you're down. But let's get off to the next conference, the major conference that was in this cornucopia of corporate synergy, or whatever I think that word means. I really got to stop watching Weird Al Yankovic movies.
Yeah, man. It's called Kingdom Hearts. That's synergy.
So Bethesda.
Oh no.
Bethesda Land.
Easily the worst thing of E3.
It's funny you bring this up, man. I brought this up. What am I talking about? I brought this up. I wanted to torture you. But I remember the original recording, which is now lost to the annals of history somewhere in the tubes of the internet. I remember saying I think I actually kind of liked the show a bit more than most. But now in retrospect, I'm thinking, yeah, this Bethesda Land thing was very cringe. Like they had this really like dopey looking like cartoonish framing device presentation for their conference, where it's like an amusement park where we have all of our fantastic IPs like Dishonored and Doom and Fallout and Skyrim. Here's the thing, I thought that was just some really weird thing for them to do for their videos. I didn't know they actually put money and effort aside to make a Bethesda land thing on the show floor and basically hard sold that. So I'm like, jeez, that is cringe. That is the kind of cringe you can only find at E3.
Yeah, and I was really mad at you in that last recording. We were like, no, it was great, but Bethesda did a great job. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They're pimping out Fallout 4 again. And
Fallout 4 completely in VR. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit curious about that. But no, they didn't really pimp out Fallout 4 anymore. They pimped Skyrim to heck and back.
They're still trying to do that. Oh my goodness, people. Look, I know.
The Skyrim in VR! Skyrim on the Switch! Skyrim in Elder Scrolls! Skyrim in the Elder Scrolls card game! Skyrim on your microwave!
And I've seen plenty of Elder Scrolls fans who were super excited that they were going to get something new. They thought, oh, Elder Scrolls 6, we're going to get it. It's finally going to happen after that crap online thing. We're finally going to get a main Elder Scrolls series. No, instead you got a VR update and more mods.
It's a VR update for Skyrim. Well, the thing is, apparently Skyrim VR is coming to the PSVR, and if I were to buy Skyrim another gosh darn time, I probably wouldn't mind checking it out in VR. Except I'd probably get on the Switch first because Skyrim on the go.
I think they're still in the VR version for like $50.
Well, the thing is, like, if I were to get it, I'd probably get it on the go, and I think that'd be a lot more impressive than Skyrim on the headset, because you said Bethesda's games are buggy as hell, and if one thing goes wrong, I could be, like, choking on my own leg.
Everybody, we're going to see hospital stories about people throwing up their lungs because they were trying to play a Bethesda game in VR.
Their face just randomly vanished, and then it fell through the world geography, and then my life flashed before my eyes as my dog's head spun around 360 degrees and started quoting Faust.
Yeah.
Oh God, make it stop!
The thing is, these VR updates should be an update. If you have the game on the PS4, they should be free. This should be an added bonus, but nope.
It should be an incentive to pick up the PSVR a bit more. I mean, Resident Evil 7 did that.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're just going to go ahead and charge you another $40-$50 for these two games. Oh, let's not forget Doom. I think Doom, I forgot the pricing for that, but Doom VFR.
Doom VFR, yeah. That was very annoying. But once again, there was like one bit of contention and one or two things I did like they did show up at the conference. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, a standalone continuation of Dishonored with the characters of Dowd and Billy Lurk, and it's basically gonna be sold as a standalone game at $30. It's supposed to be sometime after Dishonored 2. I like Dishonored. I love Arcane's work. In fact, I've actually been playing Prey recently, Prey 2017, and I think they are a great studio, and I like what they worked on, so I'm going to pick that up regardless of what my thoughts on Dishonored 2.
Which is kind of weird that they're doing it as a standalone budget game.
I think that's actually a smart call, because if it was DLC for Dishonored 2, I'd have to go out and pick up another darn copy of Dishonored 2.
I think the thing is, the Dishonored 2 didn't sell very well.
It treaded water. It treaded water, I think, was the biggest problem.
Yeah, it didn't sell very well. So I'm actually kind of surprised that they're doing a budget expansion, is what I want to call it. Because it expands the story, sure, but apparently you're doing completely new missions, completely new characters. But a $30 spin-off or sequel-esque kind of expansion game, it seems kind of like a tough sell.
I'm fine with it just because, I'm a fan, I'm biased, Hey, there's that phrase.
Yeah, but hey man, as long as we can admit it, that's a good thing. I enjoyed Dishonored 1. In fact, you and I even talked about it on one of the episodes in the past.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of that world and that setting in that game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I skipped Dishonored 2 because I was busy with other stuff, and I want to get it, okay. but I want to wait for the price drop because of all the things I've heard. And now that this is coming out, I want there to be a bundle.
So there is actually on PSN. I did see there's actually like a special edition bundle where you basically get Dishonored 2 and Death of the Outsider, and it's like packaged together as a bundle. So that is actually a thing.
Okay, well, see, that's going to be the thing that makes me get Dishonored 2 now. Because now I'll pick it up, because they had 2 for 1. But at the same time, I do get to catch up on Dishonored 2 like I've wanted to.
Of course. Yeah, that's the big thing. And 2, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
yes,
the game that saved Bethesda's pathetic conference to me.
Yeah, that was the big reveal right there. That was... Like, I've mentioned this before, Michael. You and I loved Wolfenstein: The New Order back in 2014.
Oh yeah, and we have a soft spot for New Blood? Old Blood. Old Blood.
The Old Blood, I thought it was okay. It was a bit uneven, but I liked it just fine.
Yeah, I mean, like it was definitely weird because of the setting, not because of the zombies, but because it was actually set before the Wolfenstein
events of New
game.
Order. It was an odd duck, but frankly, I think New Order was a very underrated shooter when it came out in 2014. I loved the storytelling in the new Wolfenstein because they managed to make it kind of a parody, but also a love letter of the gritty, over the top, but at the same time earnest, patriotic action fantasy of a single American man going to save the world from the Nazis.
Yeah, they basically did what I was hoping the last Duke Nukem game was going to do.
But they gave it so much heart and so much development. I was actually impressed. There was actually some great moments.
Oh yeah, they brought back the old, but made it modernized and put in some new, and it worked fantastically.
I mean, it's actually almost like part of the plot of the New Order, and I thought it was the part of what made it absolutely brilliant to me. But off topic, and we're finally getting a sequel. Like, apparently...
Yeah, and you get to kill Nazis in a wheelchair.
We get to kill... Yes! That was the big thing they showed of. Like, apparently BJ Blazkowicz survived the last game, but he's, like, in a wheelchair. And apparently there's a level where you're in a darn wheelchair and you're wheeling around and shooting Nazis while in a wheelchair. And I'm like... Wow!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without getting into too much spoilers what happened in the last game... BJ, he's in a bad place physically.
BJ shot all the Nazis and then bombs fall. Maybe he's dead. We don't know. Roll credits. That was basically the ending.
Yeah, and then when we see him in his new game, he wakes up in the hospital just like in the first one, and his legs don't work right now. And he gets in a wheelchair, and somebody just hands him a gun, like, "Oh, hey, you're awake. Here you go. Here's a gun. We got Nazis coming in." And out of nowhere, he just rolls down the hallway, blasting Nazis with shotguns and grenades, and I love it.
And the entire time, it's done apparently where you're shooting, but you also have to, like, if you want to move, you have to, like, put the gun down so you can roll yourself around. I'm like, that is great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, there's a part where he's, like, just shooting away at Nazis, and he actually puts his gun down to move, and then throw a grenade, and pick it back up, and start blasting again. I actually really enjoyed it. I want to see it. I mean, it's probably going to be a one-level thing, but it's going to be kind of cool to see a hero in a wheelchair just taking out Nazi, and not because, oh, we're trying to be PC or inclusion. It's like, no, it's part of the story.
The reason why you're able to get away with this is because it's William Gosh darn Blazkowicz.
Yeah, and it's part of the story. It's organically part of the story. It makes sense. You're like, yeah.
It's an old dog waking up and stretching, basically.
Yeah, it's so great, and I can't wait to see the rest of the game, especially since now BJ is going to become a dad to twins.
Oh my God, there's so much good story stuff, but we can't really say it here.
Well, I mean, nothing that they haven't already shown, but it takes place in America, and that setting is so awesome looking.
Yeah, seriously, we get to go to an occupied version of the United States where the Nazi regime has taken them over, and we get to see basically this sort of this other world of what would happen if, you know, the Great American Republic was decimated by the Axis forces.
And it looks way better than anything that Homefront tried to do.
Oh man, absolutely. So, yeah, Wolfenstein the New Colossus, and for me, Dishonored: Death of the Outsider were the highlights of Bethesda's show. Otherwise, it was a lot of Skyrim pimping, and I think they showed off. I think apparently they showed off Quake Champions, and oh hey look, BJ's in Quake Champions. I'm like, that's nice. Moving on. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget those paid mods. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Creation Club points. So whatever they're calling them.
Yeah, that's basically what Creation Club is. From what I can tell, it's basically them trying to find a way to sidestep the mod concerns when it comes to getting that kind of content on consoles. They're basically doing a thing where they bring in modders as basically third-party developers, but this to make new content for their games. Which I'm okay with in concept, but they're treating it like a microtransaction service, being able to buy credits.
Well, the thing is, I hate to defend this, but it also brings in a sense of quality. because they're not just going to try and sell anything.
It's the Bethesda stamp of approval thing.
Yeah, and that's what makes it suck so bad. Is like, oh, I'm paying for it, but I know it's going to be somewhat of quality because it passed through this filter that we don't even know how it works yet. But
but the bigger concern, there was that Valve tried doing something similar before, and there was a pretty hateful backlash that made them step back.
Yeah,
so
Valve also let anything pass through, so that was the biggest issue.
Oh god, Steam Greenlight.
Yeah, they found mods that were stolen and resold and all this other nonsense, and Valve had to back away for it because they're too lazy to actually have a system that they have to filter out things.
It looks like Bethesda may have learned from that and trying to put a much tighter hold on that. We'll see what goes down, but let's just say they got to get this right if they want anybody to adopt this. Otherwise, they're just gonna not bother.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was Bethesda. Next up is Sony. Probably gonna be the closest thing to a short summary of the show we're ever gonna get at because it was okay.
And that flew by so fast. Nothing happened. I looked up and the show was over. Like, wait, did we learn anything new?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like, you really want to know the highlights right here? Uncharted The Lost Odyssey is coming out. Okay. Expansion pack for Horizon Zero Dawn coming out. Okay. A full-blown remake of Shadow of the Colossus for PS4. Oh my gosh, I love that game. That's great. Oh wait, we're moving on already? Okay, really? Seriously, it was just a montage of trailers. Nobody came out and talked. There was no, like, gameplay demo. It was just trailer after trailer after trailer, and some vertical slice gameplay. Like Days Gone, or as I like to call it, lowest common denominator video game white noise. I wish I could sound a bit more enthusiastic about it, but it's basically a standard action-adventure, stealth, crafting, open-world looking, character-focused zombie apocalypse story with cutscenes and character moments and vehicle sections. And honestly, if you've played any kind of zombie experience or any kind of action game in the past 10 years, you've played Days Gone. It looked very by the numbers.
Yeah, it's trying to do that whole Uncharted / Last of Us / survival horror game thing.
I'm actually not that surprised because Sony Bend Studio was working on this game, and the last game they worked on was Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, I like new IPs. I like new ideas. Unfortunately, Days Gone.
But there is no real new ideas in this IP. It's just another zombie game of a different name.
Yeah, I mean they have faith in this because they actually showed real gameplay, like a whole section of it, and it was actually kind of boring. It
was a vertical slice because, like I said, it was like everything we've seen before. Like, why should I bother?
Yeah, we just got done gushing over Wolfenstein 2, which is just another first-person shooter. Admittedly, yes, but it's a fun first-person shooter. There was something
that made this stand out. Like Wolfenstein had the wheelchair set piece and the weird alternate universe stuff. Days Gone had like a bit on a motorcycle, and it was done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, they showed us some hand-to-hand combat. They showed some stealth. They showed trap placement.
Except we've all seen that before.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, for me, they didn't show anything interesting, and that was the worst part. They showed a part where, hey, you can set it up to where you can blow up a wall and have zombies run in and chase away all these NPCs. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but how often will that actually happen? Because obviously this is a set piece that you're doing.
It felt very scripted and by the numbers. Like I said, it was white noise to me. Positives, though, I can say. Two big ones. One, they're actually supporting the PlayStation VR. I mentioned this before. I really do think Sony has a bad habit of putting out peripherals and putting out bits of hardware and not supporting the heck out of them.
PlayStation Move, PlayStation
Vita.
PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, they just put it out and then they're like, done. PSVR actually made money. They actually made a profit with that. And it looks like they're actually going, oh, look, let's actually support this and get more stuff available for it. And I think that's a smart call because the PSVR is currently the cheapest and most easily accessible when it comes to any of the three virtual reality hardware headsets you can get right now.
Yeah,
it's tied to a console. That's a big sell there.
Yeah, it's still a chore to actually put together, but it's a lot easier, and you don't need as much space as you would with the Vive and the Rift.
It won't put you further in debt.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, your PlayStation 4, whether you get the Pro, Slim, or the original, can all run it. Other than, oh, it's time for me to upgrade my graphics card and my
Yeah,
CPU and
exactly.
motherboard and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the good stuff. Last big stuff was actually what they concluded the show with, which was Spider-Man, Insomniac's Spider-Man,
That
and
looks fantastic. I want to play
that
that
looks
game
good.
so bad.
And that is a hard console exclusive for the PS4, and I am excited. Like, it looked like they're taking gameplay from the Batman Arkham games. I'm not complaining at all.
No, that's actually a good thing to do.
No. I'm not complaining
No,
at all.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's actually a good thing they're doing that. Because, again, we just harped on Days Gone for doing the same thing.
So many games have used that Arkham style gameplay in other places. Mad Max, Shadow of Mordor. It's fine. It's a serviceable rhythmic fighting sequence.
It works. That's the thing. Like, it
Yeah,
works for that genre. We've had like Spider-Man 2, the one based off the movie, has been the best Spider-Man game hands down.
because they got the web swinging and the movements so right, and
Yeah.
the combat was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But as time progressed and graphics progress and camera systems progress, it starts to get a little harder to do any of those things. But
Exactly.
but yeah, like I said,
but Insomniac knows a thing or two about movement systems. I mean, the grinding and stuff you got to do in Sunset Overdrive, that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
That was really creative.
Oh yeah,
And it looks like they're bringing a lot of that into this gameplay. And a lot of people I know kind of badmouth it because they showed off a lot of QuickTime events.
which,
But
if anything,
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good thing because Spidey's movement are pretty cinematic. It's not something that's easily done with controllers.
I don't even want to use the cinematic argument. It's that it shows a difference in variety.
I'll say athletic. It's a little more athletic.
It's a heroic set piece. You want to feel like a superhero, and that entire set piece with the chopper on the crane, that made me just get up and cheer. And here's the thing, that's a small section of the game. Otherwise, it's combat, it's stopping enemies, and it's swinging around this big open world. Having those quick QTE sequences punctuate that, I think is having the best of both worlds. Because we said before, QuickTime events get a bad rap, but only when they're done badly. If they're done right, they can be very effective. And Insomniac showed they know what they're doing when they showed how the QuickTime events were used and what context they were using them.
Yeah,
right?
I know gamers like to have complete control, but let's face it, if they didn't have that QT in there, you could have easily just did something that screwed everything up and made it look kind of dumb, or you didn't hit the right button no matter what, and you fell off the crane or whatever, and you'd be like, oh, this stupid system, blah, blah, blah.
Like, I like my Souls-like, I like my reflex-heavy, crazy nonsense stuff, but sometimes I want some of that pressure taken off, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but it looks like they're doing a good job of maintaining the fantasy of this in Spider-Man. Also, I'm just glad we're getting a video game with Mr. Negative in it as a villain, so, much more recent, modern Spider-Man villain.
And Miles made an appearance.
Miles Morales had a sort of Marvel MCU style teaser at the end, but apparently he's not going to be the guy who's Spider-Man. Peter Parker is basically confirmed as Spider-Man, so calm down, put your pitchforks down, you weird people.
Yeah, man, that was such a big problem people had with that. It's like, oh, why is he there? PC trying to be blah blah blah. It's like, well, geez, man, let's play Peter for the umpteenth hundredth time.
I think you mentioned before in the recording that's been lost to the annals of history that you actually would think this would be a good opportunity for them to bring in like other versions of Spider characters, like Spider-Verse, like bring in people
I brought in, this would be a good time to do a Spider-Verse, and you actually brought up another game that actually did that. It was
Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions, which I actually enjoyed the first one. I didn't play the sequel.
We don't talk about the sequel at all, but yeah, it was basically a combination of like the other Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man Noir, Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is based in the new universe now, but moving on. But I wouldn't mind like having that being a bit of excuse for having like different gameplay again, like maybe bringing in Silk or Spider-Gwen, or the Miles Morales Spider-Man. He's got a more diverse different power set compared to Peter Parker. Like,
it could really change up the gameplay depending on what Spider-Man you play.
I mean, right now I'd just be fine with a really well-made Spider-Man game. It's been too long, but if they made this little extra stuff, they would have me sold hands down. Well, that's what I liked. Now let's get to briefly the stuff I hate about Sony, about the Sony conference, because I may primarily play with them, but there are certain things about them that I can't stand. And I kind of brought it up. They really just kind of showed a bunch of trailers and didn't really say much else about the games. Just then, hey, this is coming out, this is coming out, this is coming out, see you next year. And that was very impersonal. And there also wasn't really a whole lot of major whoa moments. I mean, we got to see more God of War footage, which looks okay. And Detroit Become Human. David Cage's...
People, you should hear this man outside of recording when you bring up David Cage. It is great.
Let me preface this again by saying this right now. David Cage, I think, can be, at times, a talented storyteller in gaming. I know he has a history and a past working in the game industry. How he came in with Omicron, the Nomad Soul, and I do appreciate that he was in some ways a pioneer of bringing interactive dramas into becoming its own subgenre with gaming. But the thing is, I find him to be a very pretentious and insufferably smug storyteller. I cannot stand his amazing emotional experiences when it comes to the games he makes. Indigo Prophecy is the closest thing to one I think works because it's just so hilariously inept and hokey that I can't help but laugh at and kind of groove on its weirdness. But Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, all pretty awful experiences, all pretty awful games. No, they're interactive movie-like experiences. Well, the movie sucks. Like, I've mentioned this several times to people. It's like, no, it's trying to be something more, being more than a game. I mean, like, being a movie, because this movie is terrible.
Yeah, in fact, there was, it was in Heavy Rain, there's a trophy for giving interactive gaming storytelling a chance. It's like, wow, you, that's not really a trophy, but you pat yourself on the back. Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's very insulting. Personally, because like this and everything I hate about David Cage's self-satisfactory mindset is in the trailer they showed for Detroit Become Human. David Cage didn't go on stage and talk, thank God. I might have actually done something rash at that point. But I'm not kidding. The trailer... Here's the thing. Originally, the first trailer looked like you're going to be playing as an android in this sort of cyberpunk universe where he's trying to learn how to become human. And I thought, okay, if it's just focusing on an android becoming sentient, that might actually be interesting. Instead, the new trailer we got is about how androids are becoming like human, and as such, they are shunned because they are slaves and used as objects, and you're a part of a revolution to say, no, we are not slaves, we are people, and every choice you make has consequences. Wow, what an amazing development. Dude, you've been doing this since 2004, and gaming has made leaps and bounds in narrative delivery, in narrative context, and narrative nuance. Telltale Games.
Yeah, Telltale likes to say hi.
Telltale likes to say hi. The Walking Dead Season 1 emotionally gored me. One of the best damn reimaginings of Batman. It didn't come from Rocksteady, it came from Telltale's take on Batman. Seriously, you guys are really checking out that Batman adaptation. It's really great. You really should, give that one a chance. And Firewatch.
I mean, heck, forget that Telltale was able to make a story out of nothing. They made a game out of Minecraft.
They made a game out of Minecraft. Firewatch basically made a game about a guy dealing with troubles in his marriage by going out into the mountains for a while and making that a compelling experience. Meanwhile, with you think it's a good idea and an amazing avant-garde and truly unheard of idea to beat me over the head with the exact same storytelling ideas and tropes and memes that have come out of cyberpunk fiction ever since its inception, that has been also talked about in Deus Ex and multiple other cyberpunk games that have come out in the past 5 or 6, 7 years, and you think I'm going to be the guy that's going to go up and pay full price for this experience and expect your radical take on it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I know you're full of I'm not gonna say hatred, but you're displeased with this man.
I do not hate David Cage. I do not hate his games. As I said before, I think there are some elements to it where they do become great.
Okay, here's, before you go on your rant a little further, the reason I'm kind of disappointed with David Cage stuff, like, I gave it a shot. Like, I actually enjoyed Heavy Rain. I skipped Two Souls, or what the heck that game was called. Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I skipped that. And I like Fahrenheit. Of course, that's like everybody else. That's like the first time I actually learned about David Cage. I like Fahrenheit. Well, of course, Indigo Prophecy, as it was called in America. I like those two games. Skip Beyond Two Souls. And I'm not even excited for this because, let's face it, gameplay wise, David Cage sucks at this. He is horrible at it.
QuickTime events, dialogue options. So the dialogue options are terrible, poorly written, and barely any context is given. And QuickTime events.
And the thing is,
which you don't have to pull off.
And the thing is, it's a point and click adventure. It's a modern day point and click adventure. That's basically all David Cage's games are. They're modern day point and click, and he does the most mundane crap like, you can take a shower, you can use the bathroom, you can cook a meal. You can shave. He's like, is this The Sims, or am I actually going to be able to play this game? And then you get to the story.
It's to set a baseline of normalcy before things become emotional. You mean shock?
And the thing is, things get way too weird. It's like, with Heavy Rain, you pretty much go through a movie of Saw. Through Indigo Prophecy, it started off pretty cool until it started getting all Matrix weird.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's actually the problem. For me, his games become interesting when they kind of go to that craziness, because then there's something interesting that I wouldn't say being expressed, but it feels like a lot more creative than trying to basically guts.
Because then it feels more like an actual game rather than rather than a life simulator.
Thank you. Yes, like one of my favorite things I like saying when it comes to summarizing Indigo Prophecy, Fahrenheit, whichever one you want to call it, is like, okay, here's how weird this game gets. The game it opens up. You're in a bathroom. You go into a weird daze, and you wake up, and there's a bloody knife in your hand. There's a body. Okay, and the police are on their way. You have to go and hide it. I'm like, and now it's like a murder mystery. You have to figure out what happened, what's going on, and then middle, and then near the end, the underground hobo network starts rioting and starts attacking manifestations of the internet that actually happen to be aliens.
Yeah.
I like saying that to people because I like to see the looks on their faces.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, I actually like the first half of Indigo Prophecy because that was so interesting. Like, yeah, it had stuff to do with voodoo and possession and stuff, but I was really interested in that. I was like, okay, this is a cool murder mystery where I have to solve this murder that I know I committed, but I have to figure out why it happened and how. And then it went from that to Matrix.
When Underground Hobo Network attacking aliens made out of the internet.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, there comes a part where you become Neo. You fly around and fight some guy. I forgot his name. So yeah, that's when I started being like, okay, this game is losing me. Like when you start hallucinating the bugs and stuff, I thought that was kind of fun.
It got weird, but here's the thing. Also, I'm not even kidding when I say I think David Cage needs to reevaluate his storytelling talent, because if you look past a lot of the stuff also in his games, there's a lot of really wrong-headed and terrible things in them. Like, I actually brought this up. Black people in his games are really terribly presented.
Everybody. David Cage cannot write characters.
David Cage cannot write characters. He cannot write coherent plot. There's a lot of really weird sexual assault stuff that keeps happening in his games. He's kind of treated as normal.
He can't write women. He can't write anybody.
He can't write women. He can't write characters. He can't write a good dilemma. He can't write a good dilemma to save his life.
Heck, in Heavy Rain, the detective is supposed to be presented as an outside person, but he doesn't say things that you're just like, wait, why would you even do that? Like, there's a point where, for some reason, he has these glasses that has like these augmented reality kind of features, but apparently nobody else even knows about this because they look at him weird. I'm just like, what is going on here? It's not explained. It's just the way David Cage writes things. He writes a piece that's interesting and then forgets all about it.
And like I said, a lot of it just feels like Hollywood envy rather than him trying to be an actual creative. Because I said before, Tim Schafer is a creative. Will Wright is a creative. Kurt, no, not Kurt Schilling. The various Japanese auteurs that are becoming recently: Swery65, Suda51, Yoko Taro, Hideo Kojima.
Peter Molyneux.
Those are creatives. Peter Molyneux. Those are creatives with a clear, distinct idea and a clear, distinct mindset that they bring to their experiences, and actually embrace the interactive nature of games.
Well, I mean, Peter Molyneux used to be like that.
Well, I'm getting broad here, but David Cage, I can feel his creativity, but he feels like he has to stifle that in order to emulate Hollywood and some sort of weird bit of Hollywood envy.
Which is kind of weird because Kojima does the same thing, but he does it well.
But Kojima uses film to help enhance the games, because Kojima is a cinephile, but he also loves game design.
Yeah, it's weird. He's in love with Western media, and he puts that in his games. David Cage, I don't know what he gets his inspirations from, but he needs to look deeper.
David Cage rips stuff off, but he doesn't really know how it works and thinks. I know it sounds like we're crapping a lot on him, but it was the biggest black mark ever in Sony's conference. That just annoyed me. Like, if you look up this trailer, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. How they focus so much on this being a big deal, and this whole choices have consequences thing. I thought we moved past this.
Yeah, like this game is too little too late. Like, it's trying to be relevant with revolutions and blah blah blah, and what is human, and if it has a self-conscious, is it human? Does it deserve rights? It's like, yeah, dude, you're a little late on that story.
You're a little late. The more recent Deus Ex games have been doing that. Nier Automata has been doing that, and it's been absolutely destroying me emotionally. Seriously, it's part of my Friday night stream. You should check that out, by the way. We'll get to it later. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling Detroit Become Human. I'm not going to bother with it. But, yeah, that was Sony's conference. Next up would have to be, we have two left. Ubisoft. Honestly, not really a whole lot to hate.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Ubisoft easily had the best conference, which is weird saying that. They didn't do anything cringe. Yes. Well, except for that stupid Just Dance thing. But they actually held back on that, so...
Yeah, they held back on it, but like, seriously, rapid fire stuff that came out that they announced. Skull and Bones. They basically took the Assassin's Creed 4 pirate ship gameplay and just made that a full game. I'm not complaining.
and they admit it too. They're like, the team's like, yeah, we like Black Flag too, and we thought, hey, what if we turn the naval section into a whole game? Because we like it, the fans like it. Why not do that?
Now I just hope that they don't have it go the way of For Honor. That's all I ask. But
this can be microtransaction. It's a Ubisoft game.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it won't kill the fan base like it does, like it did for For Honor. Who am I kidding? It's going to happen.
$1.99 for 5 shanties.
Oh, don't you dare start. so Skull and Bones looks okay. The Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle crossover with they're doing a crossover with Mario using the Rabbids, and it's tactical. It's a turn-based tactical game.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Darn it! I want to hate this game so much, but it looks fun and it looks charming.
It looks fun. It looks fun. It looks silly. I mean, come on. We have a Rabbid and Peach cosplay, Instagramming it up, and I should be hating that. It should infuriate me, but I'm too busy laughing.
Yeah, it's actually it fits for some strange reason. And it reminded me of the first time I met the Rabbids. I actually used to like the Rabbids when they did.
You're dead to me.
Hey, I did. All right. When it was Rayman and the Rabbids, Rayman, Raven Rabbids, I actually like the Rabbids. I like the mini games that they have because I like, okay, this is something new and different. I actually kind of like this. Yeah, it's cute. It's charming. They got their own thing. But it kept happening. They made the same thing that happened with me and the Minions. I tolerate the Minions, but I actually like the Rabbids.
And overexposure happened.
Yeah, so bad. So many things. Rabbids in the kids' Happy Meal. Rabbit TV shows. I'm pretty sure they were talking about doing a Rabbids movie. But they were doing all this.
You never go full Minion. Stop now.
Oh, man. The Rabbids were the Minions for the Minions for the Minions. But they kept doing it, and I was like, okay, you know what? It's the same one-note joke. They scream and do all this stuff, and they hurt themselves. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm over it already. But this, okay, if you do something interesting with rabbits like this, I'm in.
Yeah. That was probably one of the bigger highlights. So, Assassin's Creed Origins.
I'm excited. If for the first time in a long time, I'm actually excited for a new Assassin's Creed game.
Cliff notes: set in ancient Egypt, they're gonna have like an RPG level loot system where you can get different stat weapons now, and
you actually use the eagle. Finally,
yes. Yes, you have an eagle companion that you can use to scout and do stuff as opposed to an eagle eye vision mode, which is nice. And apparently no Abstergo Corporation framing device is going to be set entirely in ancient Egypt with no modern-day framing device.
Which, thank goodness, because this game is pretty much a prequel to all the Assassin's Creed games. Because it's...
In fact, a bunch of the studios... In fact, the studio kind of said they're treating it as a sort of a soft reboot.
Which I'm kind of glad, because this is actually telling the story of assassins, because historically assassination kind of started in ancient Egypt or something like that. I haven't looked at it too much, but apparently that's where the name came from.
Honestly, I think the Assassin's Creed games could do with a bit more historical research, but that just may be me.
Well, the first 2 or 3 games
looks okay.
did that. Yeah.
This, as I said, this looks okay. This looks fine. This looks...
It looks fun. It looks like
it looks reasonably entertaining. Yes,
the art team is back on their prime. They're actually doing something interesting. They're in a new interesting setting. They have a new-ish interesting gameplay mechanics they have going on. The combat still looks just as generic as the last ones.
It looks like they Dark Souls it up. Honestly,
really, I didn't really see that, but
with the melee combat, it looks a lot more dodge focus, which I guess is a change over being very counter focused, I guess, but beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, and you can slide down pyramids or pyramid looking buildings.
Slide down pyramids. 9 out of 10 needs more sand. Okay.
And I know this sounds real dumb, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to admit it. I am so glad they actually use dark skinned people in this game. I know it sounds like a stupid little nitpick, but honestly, for me, that was the first thing that drew me in. I was like, oh, whoa, you're actually gonna. But it's Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually believes in diversity. But I was like, oh wow, you're actually gonna go with dark-skinned Egyptians and not like.
Of course, Ubisoft's directing this, not really Scott.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so okay, we're not gonna go like Gods of Egypt level with this. We're actually gonna like. We really need an Egyptian man in this role. Let's put Christian Bale as an assassin. So yeah, I know it seems silly, but it's actually something that is noticeable to me, and I'm excited for it now. I'm down for this game. I can't wait for Origins. And screw you, I know I'm about to mess this up. Screw you, Ubisoft, for your special Ultimate Ultra Deluxe editions.
Oh gosh, yes. It's not an Ubisoft game unless they try to sell you an $800 special edition of... Wait, what? $800?
$800 bones or scarabs or whatever we're going to use for money in this game.
Yeah, no. Let's move on and say no more. Now, they did actually end the show with a big announcement, but I'm very skeptical about, Mabel Pines is giving me my skepticals to put on, because this is probably the biggest announcement they made out of this conference, which was Beyond Good and Evil 2 is actually in development now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that we're gonna get more steep, but yeah, sure, okay, yeah, we can go with that.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Steep DLC. But yes, Beyond Good and Evil 2, it's actually happening, and
it's actually happening. It's actually happening. It's in development. We got Mikel Ancel back as creative director. We have this big fancy pre-animated trailer about a bunch of...
and that trailer looked way different from anything that they were showing in the past 20 years.
This is the biggest thing for me. Like, I know there's a lot of big fans of Beyond Good and Evil. I know this because it's a good game. Like, the originals holds up really well. And the thing about those, that was like released like it was like 15 years ago. And that's what's really sad. It was 15 years ago, and the last time they even addressed the game was even getting a sequel was like in 2008 or 2009 with like a teaser, and nothing came of it. And every single time commentary was made about the game, it's like, oh yeah, we're working on it, yeah, we're working on it, we'll show something eventually, and it kind of turned into like the Duke Nukem Forever or the Aliens Colonial Marines after a while. It's like, oh yeah, that'll come out.
Or like people start taking... I think we should put it more like Prey, because the stuff that we saw, or those trailers, like Duke Nukem stuff we eventually got, but with Prey, from all that time that we saw the game that we actually got,
thrown out the window.
Yeah.
thrown out the window.
Yeah, this one doesn't even focus on Jade from what we can tell, because it's
this actually happened in interviews. Mikel Ancel basically said it's a prequel set before Jade, so it's a prequel sequel for one, and two, basically development happened as of maybe a few months ago.
Yeah, you already tell that they were having trouble with development of making a good sequel, but the point that they're on stage, they blatantly let you know it's like, yeah, this game was set before Jade was even born. It's like, wow, okay.
So they're doing a prequel sequel. They're making an end for mature because there's a lot of F-bombs that were being dropped in that trailer.
Bang bang, mother.
Bang bang, mother. Yeah, it's like, yeah, they had that go down. They got the creative director of the past game back, but at the same time, they were aware this much hype and this much anticipation was built for this. They've been teasing it left and right, and only just now they're putting it in development. I'm sensing a lot of red flags, and as such, I want to be excited. Dear God, do I want to be excited? But at the same time, I'm you gotta show me a bit more.
Yeah, and there's no going back now. They brought up a lot of the team members on stage. You're like,
it's like, we're actually working on it. This is actually happening. If it gets canceled in 6 months, I'm expecting people to ride and like burn down the Ubisoft offices.
Like this is gonna be a big deal. Everyone's gonna expect this game to show up at next E3, and if nothing comes up, people are gonna question this game way more than they are now. But yeah, Ubisoft has they have faith in this game. They got the original director back. He seemed so nervous to actually announce this thing, as if he was going to get mobbed on stage.
Mobbed with love and creepy stalkers.
But yeah, that was Ubisoft. Ubisoft was actually the best shown.
Well, yeah, I would say it was really good. Close seconds, if you ask me, when it comes to this sort of stuff, because the last major announcement brought up was by Nintendo, and they did their usual thing this year with a half-hour direct spotlight, announcing new stuff, and their Nintendo Treehouse, which is basically them on the show floor showing off demos of games that were available to play on the show floor, and pretty much a quintessential Nintendo presentation. A lot of fans get angry what they didn't announce. Insert IP, a sequel to IP you really love here didn't show up, therefore Nintendo doesn't care anymore.
Star Fox.
Oh dear, they kind of shot the dog when it came to that after Star Fox Zero. Don't get me started.
No pun intended. At least I hope there's no pun intended.
Yes, no pun intended. Why would you think I'd do that to dogs? What's wrong with you?
No, Nintendo will probably do it because, hey, remember Nintendogs? Remember that, kids? Yeah.
Yes, I do. It was cute. But you're getting off topic. I'm getting off topic. What's wrong with you? We don't have so much time to record this.
Because I want Star Fox.
But, gosh darn it, man. But that happened. They didn't really have a whole lot of announcements, but the stuff they did announce did make a lot of fans and a lot of people very happy. Case in point.
Yoshi.
Okay, a new Yoshi for the Switch. That does look cute. It kind of looks like it has that sort of Yoshi's Woolly World arts and crafts thing. It's coming to the Switch.
And it's called Yoshi. It's just a placeholder name. Placeholder
name.
Which is weird. Which is weird, because they did it with that and Kirby.
A new Kirby and a new Yoshi game. They look pretty well done. Like the actual gameplay was shown off. Like actual basic simple gameplay looks cute enough, looks fine enough, fair enough. But these are clearly placeholder titles, and no real concrete release date was given. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got more gameplay shown off and new trailers shown off.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that trailer, I was trying to figure out what it was. Cause man, this looks dumb. But at the same time, I was like, hey, this could be interesting.
I said the exact same thing about the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and it became one of my favorite, more recent JRPGs. I don't play a whole lot of JRPGs.
I think it was the clothes of the main character. His outfit looked so freaking ridiculous.
It's funny you bring that up because I think Tetsuya Nomura, the guy who worked on Final Fantasy, guest created one of the characters.
Oh, jeez.
So if there was an aesthetic inconsistency, I could probably pin it to the Nomura design character. but yeah, that got announced. But of course, several the big bombshells that they revealed there was this. I actually have to say got me excited. Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch. They're actually developing a Metroid Prime 4.
I don't want Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 3 was great. Continue the story of Metroid M, only make it good.
How about no?
Yes, just make it good. How
about no?
We don't need Prime 4. Go somewhere else with the story.
Moving on, Michael, with your very contentious argument that's going to stretch this entire podcast show like 2 hours long.
We can fill an episode with our views on this stupid thing. Because I just don't want Prime 4. I enjoyed Prime 1 and 2. 3, not so much.
I was fine. I'm fine with the new Metroid Prime, but they also announced kind of sneakily on the Treehouse a 3DS 2.5D remake of Samus of Metroid 2.
Boo.
Metroid Samus Returns.
Boo.
Hey, look. Shut your filthy mouth. I am actually excited for this.
Boo.
You shut your filthy mouth. I'm actually excited for it. It looks great.
Yeah,
and
they're pulling that Castlevania nonsense, and they're going to do it with Samus. So yay!
Do you really think I'm angry at this? I'm just glad that I'm just glad they're actually investing into this IP again after Other Rem was was a pretty big bit of controversy for the fan base.
Yeah, that thing was a piece of junk, but I still rather see them revisit that world and retell Samus' story.
Do you really want this? No,
yes,
seriously. You know what?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's put a pin in this for a minute. You really want a game where Samus monologues nonstop about motherhood, mothership, mothering, and mother stuff, and other stuff that also could be used as an anagram for the word mother, while also occasionally maybe shooting at stuff and maybe remembering to turn on her power-ups because a man told her to.
I mean, that was pretty much Metroid 1 with the whole mother deal. I mean, heck, we found out Mother Metroid. But anyway, look, I just want them to go back, revisit that, and make it good. That's all I'm asking. It was an interesting story. We don't know much about Samus. I know a lot of people will like that about Samus Aran, that we don't know much about her, why she became a bounty hunter, her past, her history. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. I'm sorry.
Michael, give me a second there. Do me a favor and reword that next time, because I would absolutely love a Metroid 5, like a sequel to Metroid Fusion, where they did talk more about her character. But at the same time, I think this is actually a smart call to kind of say, hey, we're revisiting the Metroid franchise. Please show your support.
Yeah, we're going to play it safe. Good job, kids.
We're going to play it safe.
Yep, Metroid Prime 4, because we're too afraid to do something new like we did with Other M. Oh,
Michael,
no,
you're stretching the show out. You are stretching the show out.
No, and if you don't,
you are freaking stretching the show out because you are baiting the heck out of me.
And if you don't like Metroid Prime, don't worry. We know that you love nostalgia, so here's a 2.5 nonsense of Samus Returns. Like, oh yay! Now I get best of both worlds, except for something interesting.
Michael, you do realize this actually validated a lot of fans because they were wondering why Nintendo were shutting down fan remakes of Metroid 2. It's like, well, if you're shutting these down, you're not doing anything with the IP. Why are you doing anything with the IP? They've been developing this game for like 2 years. Now you know why.
And they've been shutting those fan-made remakes down for like, what, 5, 6 years? They've been doing that for a long time. 3? I'm pretty sure they're longer than that. But I'm sure you would know, seeing how you really want your Castlevania X 2.5 Metroid remake.
Do you really like putting words in my mouth, man? Because this is turning very antagonistic very fast.
No, before we started recording, you were super excited about Samus Return.
Because it's another Metroid game, and we haven't had one of those in over 7 years.
Oh, you people lap it up. Just eat it up. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, let's let's move on. Oh, my goodness.
Did you even fail to realize we didn't even talk about Call of Duty World War II in this?
Nobody cares. I like Call of Duty and I don't care anymore. It's not even worth mentioning.
No, you don't get to talk about that, man, because I was trying to make a point and you missed it. Now let's move on and see what else they also brought up. Pokken Tournament Deluxe coming to the Switch. Yay! Thank you very much. I'm actually okay with this.
Sure you are. No, go ahead, please, gush more. Gush more, Nintendo.
We're running low on time. So, you know what? Last little bit of announcement, a bunch of other stuff, remakes, ports, stuff you don't care about, whatever. Last big game, Super Mario Odyssey.
Now we're talking.
You just wanted me to get to Super Mario Odyssey, didn't you?
I did, yes. Because it's the only thing from Nintendo's conference that I actually want to talk about. But please, go ahead. You start us off. Look, man.
You get to possess a T-Rex.
Look, yeah. Look, you were slightly happy about Bethesda's thing. I was slightly happy with Nintendo's thing. And this was it. Mario's Odyssey was the reason I liked it. You were going to gush so much about Samus. But moving on. This actually looks so much fun. Like when we first saw the original announcement, the initial announcement for Odyssey, you and I were confused beyond belief about what Nintendo was doing.
Okay, so it's like another open world game, kind of like Hub World, like Galaxy or Mario 64, but he gets to throw his hat now. What?
Yeah,
like it just looked kind of like a cutesy kind of mishmash of stuff. And then we saw this new trailer, and he possesses people with this hat now. What?
Yeah, the music was great. Oh my god, that music was so awesome. And we actually got to see
very catchy song.
Yeah, we actually got to see more gameplay with the hat of possessing Goombas and real people and even a taxi cab and
taxi cabs.
Yeah, and it seems like it's more than
ghosts, power lines, fire cannons, binoculars, rockets.
Yeah, and it seems like it's more than just because you can. It actually seems to be some puzzle and game and level movement that you can use. And you know what? That seems like a fresh take on the Mario. It's like, yeah, it's still a platformer, it's still Mario. But
it's still Mario. It's still cute, and it still has like one of the best things I kept seeing was all the photoshops and jokes people kept making about the possession mechanic. Like the best one I saw was images from The Thing, but they had the guy who was the Thing. They just photoshopped a mustache and a cap on him.
Yeah, because it's so great. Oh, and the art team has done a great job because whenever Mario possesses something, no matter what it is, it still has
it looks cute.
Yeah, and it still has that Mario-esque look. It must be the mustache because no matter what you possess, Mario's mustache pops on it, and it is awesome. Even the taxi cab had a little mustache.
Yes, and that right there is Nintendo's charm right there. They always manage to repackage the old in new ways that keep people interested, which is something I was trying to say on at least several different occasions when you kept stopping me and slowing the crawl of this show down to nothing.
Oh, you were just going to go on about Samus.
No, I wasn't.
Hmm. So, what is the one thing you did not like about Nintendo's conference?
I'm drawing a blank.
Everything? Wow, okay. Yeah, if you want to be that guy.
Honestly, I really didn't find a whole lot to hate about it.
Yeah, there really was nothing. Like Nintendo flew through that thing so fast. If anything, I'm kind of sad that they didn't say anything about the Switch. Like, hey, we got these cool things going.
It was a half-hour show, and the demos they showed off and the gameplay demos they showed were actively on the show floor, and the treehouse they were showing the gameplay for was actual believable gameplay where people messed up and people actually had like hiccups and things happened. It felt genuine compared to the more scripted stuff. I say this every year, but I still think it's a strength for Nintendo's stuff. And actually, now I think about it, I think there actually was one bit of a shortcoming I do think was kind of a low point of the show. Fire Emblem Warriors. It's Fire Emblem. It's Dynasty Warriors of Fire Emblem. Okay.
When you ran out of idea, you just smash all your characters together.
I'm not kidding. The low point of the show was an idea. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's probably because it was the most boring, which is kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah.
If that's the low point of your show, I think you're doing fine.
Yeah, it's like here's Yoshi, here's Kirby, here's Samus, here's Mario, and here's Fire Emblem. I guess it's like, oh, okay. Here's other stuff. Wow, what a great show. So what do you think about Fire Emblem? Huh? Oh yeah, that was shown, wasn't it?
I mean, there was also the announcement of more Amiibo and Breath of the Wild DLC, but
not gonna buy more Amiibos. Gosh darn it, that one Amiibo that I'm sure is gonna be hard to find.
Which one? All of them?
Yeah.
But, yeah. You, man, going on with this. But of course, the real winner of E3, the real expert show, I think, was one that actually kind of stuck past a couple of people. Like, you and I only caught it later on because they actually had it show off at midnight of all things, and it was by Devolver Digital.
Man, I still wish I saw it. I can't believe I missed that show.
Like here's the very big thing here, people. Like, we sound very snarky and very backhanded, very flippant, and admittedly very cynical when it comes to a lot of these shows, a lot of these presentations. And that's for good reason. We this is not our first rodeo. We have been on this ride before. We've been disappointed. We've been backstabbed. We've had our views validated as well as refuted multiple times throughout the show. But we've gone very used to all the tricks and all the marketing gimmicks and all the little bits of chintz and guff that the publishers have been trying to push on us for years and years. And Devolver Digital went up on stage and within a 15-minute show made a giant parody of all of that stuff and cranked it up to a freaking 12. It was chaos.
It was glorious.
It was awesome.
Glorious is the word you're looking for. Oh, man, it was...
Yeah, yes.
Earliest access. It was my favorite bit.
Yes. She goes on stage, she's like, we heard to introduce earliest access. You get to pay for games before they're even in an alpha state. So you could pay us money now for later. Like, it got more deranged than that. I think like at one point a guy like was slowly getting sucked into a computer.
Yeah, he kept throwing all his money into a computer until his arm got sucked in and it came out without his arm.
And it's like bleeding all over the place. Like, it got so weird. At one point, like, spokeswoman like had blood all over her face. Like, this is the future. This is the future of gaming. They said, future.
And, you hit the nail on the head before we started recording. That it felt like an Adult Swim sketch. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, if Adult Swim did an E3 conference, this is what it would probably look like.
I mean, I know Devolver Digital actually did announce and show off other games at the show floor, but I just loved the candor they had about getting up on stage and basically roasting the rest of the industry's buzzwords and hype and marketing gimmicks with their own deranged show, and I love them for it.
Man, I wish I saw that whole show. I only saw bits and pieces. And I'm so sad that I missed it. But yeah, Devolver Digital ran away with surprise sleeper hit conference.
Well, it really wasn't a conference. It was more like a bit of stand-up. I think we desperately needed.
Yeah, but hey, we can call Sony's thing a conference. I'm calling Devolver's thing a conference.
Fair enough. And yeah, those were our thoughts on E3. Not necessarily the same thoughts we had before, but we can blame Brownie in Motion on that, or Schrodinger's cat piss, I don't know. But hopefully this reaches your ear holes very, very soon, and hopefully it will bring a different perspective about E3 2017 and our thoughts therein. If you want to read my thoughts a bit more about the show and the positives and negatives about it, I actually, you can read my blog at cybertavern.blogspot.com. It was actually, as of recording, the topic of question of my Side Quest Corner, which comes out every Wednesday. I also stream every Friday night on Twitch at DigiDesperado26. I'm actually in the middle of my Pile of Shame playthrough of Nier Automata, so you can check that out. You can also follow me in a more professional, less scatological, idiosyncratic matter. Okay, like I said, scatological. Idiosyncratic matter in a more professional context at thegamefanatics.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Darth Rahu, all one word. Where can we follow you, Michael?
You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at M_MOSLEY_JR. Or if for some strange reason you can't find me like that, you can find me with Zafmod. I too stream on Mixer with the same name, Zafmod. And every now and again, I also stream on Twitch. I almost Twitch on stream. I also
Twitch
stream. I also stream on Twitch with Zafmod1.
Awesome. Also, if you do appreciate and enjoy our lovely bit of bromance here on That Random Podcast Show, if you wish to find a way to support us, you can actually contribute to our Patreon. That Random Podcast Show is, in fact, on Patreon. So if you really like the show and want to see and approve and see us refine our craft, well, refine in a broad term, you can of course, contribute to us and help us with the production of this show. We have our own special stretch tiers and goals, which you can read in extent on that site. Also, That Random Podcast Show has its own Twitter account. Where can we follow them at that?
What? We have Twitter? Since when? When is this come a thing? But yeah,
we have an official That Random Podcast Show Twitter account. Where can we follow it?
But yes, we do have a Twitter account now. You can find that at Random Pod Show. That's right, pod, because there's only so many characters you can put into there. So RANDOMPODSHOW.
All right, I think that's it for all the pluggity plugs. See you in the next one, everybody.
Future True Forte.